What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Aces High Podcast. We're your hosts, Mariah and Ty. Ty, happy Loser Monday. How you doing?
I was okay until that. Had to
Happy
remind me
Suck
about
Monday.
it. Jeez, I got no kind of help in the win column yesterday. My goodness. But I'm all right though. I'm hanging in there. How you doing?
Hanging in. Yeah, the last couple of weeks we at least had one or the other to lean on. When one let us down, the other one won, So, but yeah, this Sunday, our WNBA team loses, our football team loses, my baseball team that's in the playoffs lost. Like, oh my God, it was just a terrible day.
I know.
For me yesterday in sports.
I just thought about that too.
Like disgusting. But yeah, we're hanging in there, hanging on. Chat, what's up? Dawn, Throwback, usual suspects. Appreciate you. Daniel Barry, what's good? Yeah, I mean, obviously, the Aces lost yesterday, which means, officially no three-peats. They're kicked out and will not be going to the finals. My heart is just so sad. I kind of, once we got through, well, first of all, let's just start with everything that we sat on this podcast and talked about for the last how many ever fucking weeks it's been now. Ended up being exactly what came down to us losing, to New York being able to like literally kick our ass. One game out of the 4, we had our way. And other than that, it was just disgusting. And literally every single thing that we complained about all season long, that they had time to fix, that they could have corrected, that they could have worked on, that they could have replaced players, they could have changed the lineup, they could have done all this shit. We've seen these same exact players play defense before. So why all of a sudden did they forget how to play defense this season? I don't fucking know. Couldn't defend a 3. Too fucking small. Nobody consistently stepping up beside Asia. She's stuck there to fucking do literally everything. Me and Ty are texting each other yesterday, and there's times where I'm looking up at the screen and she has 4 defenders on her. So literally. What does that mean? You have 4 Aces players wide open. And yet not one could fucking make a shot when they needed to. And then not only are you not making shots, but you can't defend on the other end whatsoever. Couldn't defend the 3 whatsoever. Like all season long. Like, we're asking Alicia Clark, that's 5 foot, who knows? I don't even know how tall she is, but she looks like she's 5'5" next to these players.
Hold on. Like 5'10", 5'11".
Defend people that are 6'3", 4, 5, 6. Like, hats off to New York, because this is what you built this team for.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I do. Before I let you go, I want to play a clip here. Speaking of, New York, something that Sabrina had said yesterday in her presser when asked if the Aces made them better. And, there's been a lot of hate on Becky this season, deservingly so. I won't argue that. But when it comes down to it, I've been hearing a lot of nobody's going to want to go play for Becky. Nobody's going to want to go play with the Aces as long as Becky's there. Okay, I'm sure some won't. Especially if you're planning on having kids, you're probably not going to want to go play for Becky. Let's be honest, right?
Keep it real, yeah.
To say that nobody's going to want to go play for her, or that she's going to be fired because they missed the finals this season, is crazy. Now, if she's fired because of other reasons that now, you know, this whole whatever happens in court and all of this shit, whatever happens, yeah, she might be fired for that. But to think that people are not going to want to come play for her because of that, or to think that she's going to be fired because of what happened on the court in this series or this season, you're out of your mind. But let's hear from Serena here. Let me make sure this volume.
Team like the Las Vegas Aces over the years, how have they made you a stronger, more resilient team over the years?
They've made us a better team. For me particularly, as someone who's kind of been part of this like new generation, I wasn't able to watch like the Minnesota Lynx and all those teams when they were on their run. When I was younger, I wasn't really a part of the league, and now being able to be a part of the league and see their excellence year after year, to do what they've done is not easy. Like, you know, we've gotten there and lost. They've gotten there and won twice, and it's a testament to their togetherness, their experience, how hard it is that they're wanting to go out there and be their best every night. And they've laid down the foundation, and they've continued to motivate everyone in the league to just want to be better and want to win championships. And so we've always respected them. We have the utmost respect for what they've been able to accomplish, what Becky's done here in a short amount of time. And, you know, thank them for helping us continue to get better.
You don't say. Interesting. But yeah, thoughts. I mean, look, we're going to get to the good. Obviously, there's a lot of good, you know, that's not going to go out the window. Becky used a great saying. She said, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Yeah, we're definitely going to get into the good. But before we do that, kind of talk to me, you know, a little bit about this series and what you saw.
Yeah, it was exactly like you said, exactly what we've been talking about all season long, you know, where we saw early what the deficiencies were. And like, you know, in the long run, they're going to need help here. They're going to need to shore this up, etc. And it all came out in this series. You know, the number one thing the Liberty did was it was Operation Don't Let Asia Wilson Beat Us.
Yeah.
And we saw it from game one. They were sending everyone at her and didn't care. Like, as long as you're not beating us, we're fine with that. And she would get the ball, and two and three other players would be around her defending her. And to Asia's credit, she would often kick it out to the open person, and shots weren't made. Right? And we saw it. It was like Kelsey Plum, bless her heart, yesterday was 4 for 4 from 3, but she was 1 for 10 or something like that from the rest of the field. It was like, what's going on? That is not the formula for success. You know, Jackie was inconsistent. Chelsea was missing shots. You know, Olympic Meg disappeared on us. We needed Olympic Meg. Where'd she go? Right?
I mean, I blame Becky for the Meg situation. I mean, you can't be expected to go out there and perform when you're given 3 minutes and you're, you're having to, every little mistake that you're going to make, you're getting pulled right out of the fucking game. You know, it's like.
After we saw what the bench mode squad could do, given extended time, given minutes to play together, like that should have been the light bulb going off of, you know what? I should use them more and rest my starters some, and this could benefit us. But, you know, what can you do? But yeah, don't let Asia beat you. And she still did her thing, but, you know, it's hard to do your thing when you're the only one out. You're the only big out there who has a shot. I mean, she got 10 rebounds and the next person got 5. And the person after that got 3. And like you said, the Liberty are a big team.
Yeah.
She's going up against a girl bigger than her and then another woman that's the same size as her. And like, Leonie Fibich, who they're calling a guard/forward, she's the same size as Asia.
Yeah.
She's not even their center. They're big. Like, she's out there playing the 2 guard sometimes. She's the same height as Asia. That's
And
how
they got like 3
big.
bigs on the bench. I swear, every time somebody would come in, it's like a giant. I'm like, where are they getting all these people from? And we can't find one.
Remember earlier in the year when we signed that big girl who the Liberty drafted. I'm forgetting her name right now. And you asked me,
one of the 3 that we've signed and haven't fucking used.
Yeah, asked me, hey, why didn't she work out in New York? And I was like, because they got so many other bigs. They got, Nara Sabali, Satu's sister. They got Kennedy Burke. They got this girl, that girl. Like, they already huge. They don't need another one. That's why she didn't make it there. Like, they're just a big team. Sabrina Ionescu is the shortest person at 5'11". No, actually it's Vandersloot, but I'm thinking of the starters, just their starters. She's the shortest one at 5'11". Everyone's 6 feet and above. So that's how big they are. So, like, they need another big. Asia can't compete with everyone. And even though she actually did compete with them, but to do it consistently over and over and over throughout the series, like, at some point it's going to wear you down, right? And then just not defending the 3, like, in the 4th quarter, it just reared its ugly head. And next thing you know, Sabrina hit 1, and Leona Fibich hit 1, and they're kicking it around. And Jonquel Jones, the biggest person on the court, I don't know how you leave her open. How do you not see her? Right?
She came in and hit like 3 big threes in foul trouble in the 4th. It's like,
exactly. And it's like, okay. At some point, somebody do something. Get out there, do something. Right? It just all of it came to a head, and that's what ultimately bit them. Outstanding season, and they had a great run. A lot of people said they wouldn't get this far, but ultimately it's what they is. And hats off to the Liberty. They built this team to beat the Aces. That was their number one goal. We got to get past the Aces. It was that old thing where you got to get over the hump of this team. And we've seen it all throughout sports, all throughout time, where one team has to get past another. And that was their goal this season, to get past this Aces team. And that's what they built it for. That's why they brought in the height, the shooting, everything. And they got it done.
Yeah. Let me play this clip from Becky real quick. And from the set of the first series, against Seattle, obviously, as a fan, right? And especially when you're going for the 3-peat, like, you want to hold on to hope until there's no hope left, right? Like, I'm going to believe in this team, especially as long as Asia Wilson's in that locker room, until there's nothing left to believe in, right? And it's like, but in that first series, like, I was already knowing, like, this team, New York's been the best team in basketball all season, and like, we're struggling, even though we beat, and swept Seattle. Those games didn't come easy. Like, let's not act like we just walked in there and they laid down. True. And, so, like, I had already put out a tweet during the Seattle series and was like, if the Aces don't 3-peat, the good thing that'll come out of this, and something that I've talked about all season long, is that this roster needs a shakeup. We're not. I watched, literally, being a freaking Warriors fan, watch them roll out the last year, how many ever freaking years in a row now. Small. Like, you already have Steph as the best player on your team. That's this freaking tall. Like, and you're not going to put no height around him. Like, be fucking for real. But yet they think they're going to keep doing it, and we see what keeps happening, right? So, like, I would be sick to my stomach if the Aces just threw out this same group of girls again, although I love this team, right? Like, we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
Like, don't take nothing away from them. It's not their faults. But like, something has to change. And whether that's getting Kelsey Plum off this team, so be it. Whether that's getting Kelsey Plum off the bench, so be it. But if you can't be rolling out there with only 2 of your starting 5 that can defend. You can't do it. You're not going to win like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't roll out there with only 1 of your 5 above 6'2".
Yep.
Like, let's be for real. So
above 6 feet.
Yeah. I was being generous, I know.
Yeah.
So this is what Becky had to say. And then obviously, right, we know, the expansion draft's coming. We talked about it. You can only protect 6. We'll see what the Aces decide to do there. But this is what Becky had to say about the offseason moves.
I haven't sat there and gone through what we've never done exit meetings. We've done exit partying. So we're gonna have to get together, figure it out. But I mean, obviously we have to get better. We have to really take a sharp look at ourselves, look ourselves in the mirror, see our shortcomings, and then, you got to make the moves necessary, whatever that means, to put the best product that we possibly can. It's not going to be the same group probably next year. It just won't. And I'm sad about that because I really like that group. They're a pain in my ass, but I was a pain in their ass too. And I like that group. I love that group. I haven't sat there and said,
So obviously, the bench, it's part Becky's fault. She doesn't use the bench. But what's the reason why she's not using the bench? Like, we can't just keep, as much as I love Sid, right? I love KB. Like, you can't keep girls on this team just because they're good morale. They're cheerleaders. Right. Like, you're paying people to be cheerleaders, right? Like, you have people doing that shit. Like, you have to have people on this team that you can go deep into your bench when you get to this time of the season, especially. Like, look at New York has the deepest bench in the freaking league, and they've been the best team all season long.
Yep.
They use their bench. They rely on their bench. Their bench comes through. Like, you have to have more than 5 pieces on your roster. Like, you have to. So, as much as I love this team, obviously, we talk about Alicia Clark all the time, but she's the oldest. As soon as Diana retires, she'll be the oldest person left in the league. That's with Bonner. Bonner's younger than Alicia Clark.
Wow.
By like a month or so.
You wouldn't think it, but yeah.
Like, we have to get younger. We have to get bigger. We have to be able to go deeper into this bench and be able to rely on the pieces that we have. We got to.
Definitely agree.
Got to change it up.
Definitely agree. Yep. And you can't keep throwing the same thing out there and expect to win, especially when other teams are making moves and making changes. Exactly. You saw what New York did, right? They solidified their bench and got bigger. Let's get some height in here, right? That's what they did. They brought in another shooter, and Leona Fibic, who can hit from outside consistently.
And kick their ass.
That's what teams do, right? And it paid dividends for them, right? That's what teams do. You saw Seattle made their moves and brought things in and changed their team around, right? This was their first year together, and they made the playoffs. They're only going to be stronger next year when they bring that core back and add in some more pieces. So you gotta change, just like everyone else is changing. And it's like you said, like, you can't rely on the same old formula to get the job done. Like it's the same soup reheated. Everyone knows what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, you got that soup coming in with some steak. We got something even better, right? That's what's going on. So, like Becky said, some changes are needed, and everyone sees it. I don't think it's any big mystery, right? And we all love the core and we love the players, but do we still want this to happen? Do we still want that to happen? Do we have the opportunity to get better? The answer is yes. You got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, Kitley, that's some size right there. So as long as she, if we can get her back to what she was college prior to her injury, like that's a huge helping right there. Like size, like that's all we need. And then just we have to get younger and we have to get taller. So like but yeah, to just like talk about, they did the WNBA did finally announce the sixth woman, sixth player, whatever you want to call it, of the year awards, and like predicted and like deserved went to the Tiffany Hayes. Just such a huge reason why the Aces were even able to get this far. Like we know how the season started out prior to Tiffany and Chelsea being back. Like this team was looking like a team we didn't even recognize. And, like we plugged those two pieces in, and, prior to that, like people were already counting the Aces out. Oh, there's no way they're even going to make it back to the playoffs. Look at how they're playing. Oh, who is this team? Yada, yada. So many fucking headlines about the Aces. And then, all of a sudden, like, I didn't even know. Sorry, Tiffany Hayes, I wasn't familiar with your game. But like when we signed her, like I was not expecting this. I'm thinking, okay, she's been retired, although not that long, right? She had just retired the season that, right, that off season, whatever.
Yeah.
But nobody really knew her true reasons why she retired, whether, it was the team. Obviously, we know she has businesses, all that comes into play.
Yeah.
But whether her legs were feeling good, how her body was feeling, whether she was keeping up with her body, you don't know how any of this is when we sign her, right? Like literally, like we're always talking about there's so much talent in this league that they can't fit on WNBA teams. And like I was questioning, like, so we have all these girls that are here out of jobs, yet we're signing somebody like out of retirement that didn't even want to play WNBA. Like what? She's just coming here to ring chase? Like, like what's this shit, And wow. Like, we talk about that nobody stepped up consistently, alongside Asia this season, which is true. But I can tell you this, that there was never a night that I watched an Aces game that I didn't see Tiffany Hayes leave every single fucking thing she had on that court. Night in and night out, she put her body on the line. She's she looks so tiny, like so skinny and, not very tall. Like she's a lot smaller than most of those girls out there. And, usually the short ones, they don't rebound for a reason. They're not throwing their body out there with those big ass girls. Like, let's be honest. Yet that don't stop her. Like I've never seen, you're coming out of retirement and you're on the floor more than any player I've ever seen.
Yep.
Like literally using her body in however she could to help her. Like she's chasing, like the speed that she had, like was so missing from this team. And like, just the things that she was able to do. And you could just see from the week, and Asia talks about this all the time, that they're so selective. And she even mentioned this again last night in the press conference, that they're so selective about the people they let into that locker room. And you just saw Tiff Hayes gel with this team from the very first week of clips that I saw. that the Aces released her the very first day that she was working out with Tyler Marsh. And I could just see she has something she's going to work. She's an ace. And that statement could never ring truer. She's an ace. And I beg, I'll put this video and tag you to the day you decide if you're going to fucking retire or come back. I beg, if you do not retire, to come back to the Las Vegas Aces. We need you. Like, if we're going to go back and win this thing and we have a chance to beat New York next season, or whoever, I don't want to count the Sun or Lynx out, but it should be New York if they do what they're supposed to do. Like, we need you. Like, so if you're not going to retire, I know you got so much shit going on, but Vegas loves you, so think about it. Okay.
And I'm sure they'd like to have her back. Like, I know Becky was paying attention. Like, this girl's playing defense, offense. She's giving it her all. And like you said, she's all of 5'10" and 155 pounds.
Yeah.
And that's probably generous. That 155, right? They probably measured her with all her clothes on. Like, she is small. Yet she's out there, like, just throwing her body around with reckless abandon.
Yeah.
Not caring. Just doing what she got to do to win. That's the type of player you want on your team no matter what. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, Becky will be talking to her. Chelsea Gray will be talking to her. Like, I think you got another year in you. What's up? Mm-hmm. What's up? We'd love to have you here. Don't you like it here? It's good here, right?
Yeah.
You like these beautiful facilities? This is good stuff, right? You see that uniform is nice, right? Like, you need to stay here.
She had even gave credit, like, to the Aces for, like, a big part of her coming out of retirement was the Aces' willingness to work with her, since she does have all these other business ventures going on. The Aces still allowed her to do her outside, and a lot of other teams aren't willing to do that. And so she did speak on that, and how much it meant, for her to play for the Aces and how well they treated her and all that. So like, whatever Becky used and said to get her to come out of retirement, like, add a cherry on top and see if you can work it out again.
Chelsea needs to invite her over to the house, let her play with her son, be like, hey man, don't you want to stay around, help little man grow? Like, auntie, like, do what you gotta do. Yep.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, just, like, you even heard Sabrina say it, like, winning one championship is hard, right? Like, to go back to back, like, I can't say, enough great things about what this team has meant to me, to us, to the city. To bring Vegas its first championship back to back. Like, that shit, like, they'll never take that fucking away from us.
Yeah.
So fuck what they got to say now. Like, they're all dragging Asia. Oh, your MVP couldn't pull you guys to the finals and all this shit. Like, she pulled us here already. She did. Like, I'm not knowing what more you expect from her. Like, and Becky, she had said in the presser that, she felt bad for, Asia specifically because of the season she had. And, it's kind of like, you don't want to say a waste, but like, she put in all that to have the best season we probably have ever seen in the WNBA before, ever. And to not come away with a championship, like, kind of, like, it's just like, it wasn't worth it, like, like, kind of thing. But Asia said, Asia said, like, like, don't feel bad for me. She's like, I'm blessed, I'm good, like, she's like, feel bad for the whole team, like, because the whole team put in the work to get here.
Exactly.
And, the whole team are the ones that, are not getting a championship at the end. So, but yeah. Your thoughts?
Yeah, once again, Asia being that selfless leader, right? Like, hey, don't just look at me. Look at my teammates. They've been here grinding this thing out with me all season long. Like, feel bad for all of us. We were all in this together going for that 3-peat. Wasn't just me out there. So, it's once again, Asia being Asia and selfless. And I don't think the season is a waste. It's still a great season, the best we've ever seen. She's on another level. I think it's just that you want to see that cherry on top of the cake, right? You made this beautiful cake and it's awesome, and you want to top that thing off with the with the candles or something, just to make it look even better. That's all it is. And a championship would have topped that off, but it doesn't take away any of her accomplishments at all. The great basketball she played this year and the standard that she set. And for the Aces themselves, for the past 2 seasons, and even this season, like, they were the standard.
Yep.
They were the team to beat. And even when, like, early in the year, when they had their early season struggles, people were still like, hey, don't count them out. They're still the Aces.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw they turned it around, got things rolling. Second half of the season, they lost, 1 game or something? The game that Asia missed, like, they were still the standard. They were still the team. Like, everyone's like, oh, here come the Aces. They're back. They're the team to beat. And the team that was built to beat them got the job done. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So it's still a great season by the team. Great season by Asia. It takes nothing away. Like, haters gonna hate and say their BS all they want. But you can't take away anything from this team at all.
Yep, I agree. But yeah, hats off obviously to New York. But on the other side, we have to, well, before that, who was it? Stewie. She had brought up a good point in the presser that I hadn't even looked at the schedule or thought about, but she had said that now, obviously they just beat us in 4 games, right? So they'll have, a little bit of a break now before the finals start. Now, the other side, the Sun and the Lynx, they're going to game 5. And she said the team that goes to game 5, you only have a day in between the day that you play your game 5 and the day that you start game 1.
Is that true? No.
That's what she just said in her presser. She said that the playoff schedule is so crazy this week that with them beating us, that they get an extra days of rest. She said, because other than that, you only have 1 day of prep before you have to play in the finals.
Well,
so I don't know. I didn't look at the schedule, but that's what she said.
Yeah. Like the Sun and the Lynx, they're going to play on Tuesday. They play tomorrow night. And the finals starts Thursday.
Yeah.
So they get 1 day off in between.
Yeah, that's what
that's
she said.
it. But that's it. Yeah. But it was scheduled like this well in advance.
Well, yeah.
And I don't know
she wasn't
why
saying nothing about that.
Like, I don't know why this rush occurred, especially now. This isn't like during the regular season where they had the Olympics there.
Yeah.
So they had to like kind of rush the season along. But for the playoffs, you think they would take a few days off, at least give them 2 days off and like kick things off on a Friday night, something like that.
Yeah, because there's nothing set saying like, oh, like to where the NFL every year it's already set that the Super Bowl is going to be this day. Right.
Yeah,
like there's nothing set like that says every year the WNBA.
Yeah, the finals have to start on.
Like, so they could have pushed it back. They could push it back 2 fucking weeks if they want. Like, there's nothing saying the season has to end this day. Like it has to be all wrapped up by this day. Like, no, you guys make your own shit as you go. So that's what Sabrina said too. Like, she's like, there's nothing we could say or do about it. Like we don't make the scheduling. She's like, but so that is, obviously an advantage now that New York does have, that they do get this couple extra days of rest. So on the other side now going Sun and Lynx going to game 5. And man, I don't know if it's just because obviously my heart was into the Aces series. So like I couldn't enjoy it as much because like I'm nervous and I'm emotional because I know we're getting our butts kicked and all this, but the Sun and Lynx series has been so damn good. Like, we talked about those teams are so close, like they match so well against each other. And man, just some great basketball has been played. The lead changes and the offense and defense has just been so good. The coaching, like two great coaches, like, going off after each other. And it's just like, man, just been some good basketball. So yeah, now you said like tomorrow they play do or die. We'll find out who is going to be facing off against the Liberty. Now, if you guys remember from last week, am pulling for the Sun. I just, and it's nothing against the Lynx. Like I like the Lynx as a team. It's really just the Lynx fans, if I'm being honest, because they've just been such assholes the last couple of months that I just really can't fucking stand them. So, like, fuck them and their team. So I hope that the Sun beat them. I am a Carrington fan because she won me over as a fan this season. Like watching her play, like, she's been so great. And so I'm hoping that they go in there and like Mabry, like I'm pulling for her after the whole Sky trade and all that. So I'm hoping that the Sun are able to take care of that, MVP bullshit and send their asses home. What are your thoughts on this series?
It's been a great series thus far. I mean, they've just been the two equally matched teams, both pride themselves on defense and players stepping up. They've just been going at it. It's been great to see. It's good to see Marina Mabry get feisty with somebody. I feel like
that's not Carrington.
You know what? Before this season started, if you would have told me Marina Mabry and Dejanay Carrington would be buddy and smiling and crowning each other and doing all that, I would have said you're on drugs. There's no way that's going to ever happen. Get out my face. And sure enough, they're like the best of buds on that team.
Yeah,
it's crazy to see. And like to see Marina Mabry and Nafisa Collier get into it and, bark at each other and push each other. It's like, oh my gosh.
To even see Fee get like that is crazy because she's like always so sweet.
Exactly.
Like, it seems like
and sweet. Yeah. Exactly. Like, oh my God, what is going on here? That's how intense this series has been, though. And like different players from each team has stepped up. From like the stars of the stars, we know Fee's going to get hers, and like Alyssa Thomas and Bonner's going to get theirs, right? But like, who else is going to step up? And like, and in this last game, Ty Harris, off an injury, comes out of nowhere, drops 20. Like, where'd she come from? And then, like, for the Lynx, Natisha Heidman, who's the former Sun guard, she got like 15, 16 points off the bench. And it's like, man.
Teams using their bench. Imagine that.
I know, right? Use your bench. Imagine that. Like, Ty Harris off an injury coming off the bench.
If you use your bench, they'll actually score. Wow. You have to use them for that to happen.
I know, right? Give them 20 minutes, like 15, 20 minutes. Woo, not just 5. But just going at it, back and forth, lead changes, this, that, and prevailing in the end. It's been a great like championship atmosphere series. And like hats off both teams. I think Minnesota will win it at home, but both teams have won in each other's houses. So this thing can go either way. Like if I was a betting man, I would not be putting money on this game because I don't even know.
Right? Because that's how close it is. Like I haven't known the whole time. Like
exactly. You think like
sweep. Like I wouldn't have even questioned it if you told me that whatever the losing team won by 2 points every night that they played and got swept. Like okay, I could have seen that. I could have also seen, had you told me it would come down to game 5, I would have been right there with you as well, so like they're just so evenly matched that it's hard to, like if it wasn't for the Lynx fans just pissing me off, I wouldn't be saying that I want the Suns to win because I actually do like the Lynx players. I think they're a great team. And obviously Fee, like we talked about her all season. Like you can't take
Yeah.
away from the season she's had. She's just great fucking season. And if it wasn't for Asia Wilson, she would be MVP, right? Like so,
Right.
like and she showed up like every single
Yeah.
night that they've won. She has shown up, and so as long as she shows up, like
Mhm.
she can drop 30 plus and have
Yeah.
15 freaking rebounds, and this team wins no problem. Or
Yeah.
the
But the other
Sun
day
goes
she
out
had
and does
yeah,
their
she
thing. Like
yeah, on yesterday she had 29 and 10, but they wound up losing because
yeah,
freaking Connecticut just everybody was scoring. Like they had like 6 people in double figures. And like I said, Ty Harris out of nowhere drops 20. And like,
yeah.
where'd this come from? No one saw this coming. Like I'm sure no one had Ty Harris dropping 20 on their parlay at all.
Right. But that's the thing with the Suns is that on any night, like they could all be hot, and you're gonna have 5+
Yeah.
people going off. There's
Yeah.
not many teams you can say that about, like that have that
Yeah.
many solid shooters straight across
Yeah.
the board like that.
Yeah. Yeah. One game,
yeah.
Veronica Burton, their other guard, had like 18 or 20 or something. Like
Yeah.
she went off, and it was like, where'd she come from?
Mhm.
You just never know.
I agree. What's up, Nakila? What's up, Steve-O? But yeah, so that'll be a great game, and then we'll find out who's in these finals. I've been listening to some WNBA spaces, and people, obviously not Lynx and Suns or Liberty fans, but all the rest of the WNBA fans are all talking about that. And this was before the Aces got kicked out, that if it were to be Aces out of there, and Liberty matched up with one of these teams, that this is going to be a boring finals. What are your thoughts on that? I think I can see it more if it's Liberty Lynx, because just Liberty's more of a boring style team.
They are.
The Sun, they're more feisty. They're running around. They're, doing all
They're
this,
physical.
especially,
Yeah.
Like, so, like, I don't think, like, they're fun when I watch them. So I don't think it would be boring, but like, I could see, like, if you're not a fan of the Liberty or Lynx, like thinking like that series is going to just kind of maybe fall short, of the series that there have been the last few years.
Yeah, I don't agree. I think whoever they play is going to be a fun matchup. Like they all pride themselves on defense. They got different styles of play, but they all play like kind of hungry, and they want to win. And they're all playing like top basketball. We're talking about the top 3 teams in the league this year, right? And we've seen games where they've each won on each other's floor. So like even home court isn't that big of an advantage. So I think it's going to be fun either way. I think styles make fights, and they each have different styles. Like, the Sun are physical, and they'll try to bully you at times and beat you up and do all this. And like the Lynx, they play great defense, but theirs is more hands up, get in passing lanes and do things and disrupt. And they play a great, beautiful basketball where they're just trying to pass the ball around and get open shots for others. And like people are always moving, and Fee is just Fee. She's part of that. So I think it'd be a fun matchup no matter what. I don't think it'll be boring or people getting swept or anything like that. So it's going to be a good finals, whoever gets there.
Let's talk a little bit about, obviously not knowing who is going to be playing Liberty, but we do know that the first, regardless who it is, those first games are going to be Liberty at home, and they are playing in Barclays. And if that crowd gets going over there, that's where you can see this home court advantage start to take place. And remind me, in the finals, it works the same. Two games in New York, 2 games wherever.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's 2-2-1. Yeah.
If whoever they're facing up, comes out of that 2-game stretch over there 0-2,
It's going to be rough.
it's going to be rough.
It's going to be rough. You mentioned that home court advantage. It's real. When Barclay gets rocking, it's real. Okay. So I told you, I talk this stuff. I'm not new. I lived it. I was a season ticket holder for the Liberty just because I was a geek who loved the WNBA and it was cheap as hell. I got in there, right? Boom. I've been in there when it's 19,000 in there rocking. It gets raucous and they feed off of it. Like,
Yeah.
You know this from all sports. When you're at home and the team is rocking, they feed off of it. And that crowd, they get loud. You know, it's typical New York sports. They get loud. They will either boo you or cheer you. Ask Jets and Giants fans. They will boo you or they will cheer you. So it is definitely an advantage. And Barclays is weird because it gets dark.
Yeah.
Like the stands. I don't know if you can notice that on TV, but it gets
Yeah.
real dark.
Mhm.
So all of a sudden you hear this just wave of boos and cheers coming out of the darkness. And like it can mess with a road team because they're not used to that. Most arenas are pretty well lit, but not Barclays. I don't know why. Plus the I think it's the black seats has something to do with it. But anyway, it can be a tough place to play. So you have to have an experienced team. That's why I think this is interesting because you got two experienced teams in the Lynx and the Sun. Their core have been together for a while. You have two great experienced coaches that are going to go in there. And I think they're going to have their teams prepared to play in that type of environment.
Yeah.
Sabrina
So
was at Oregon. She was the shit.
Liberties have the home field, home court in those first couple, and then plus the extra rest.
Yep.
They've been the best team all season,
things are swaying in their favor. Yeah.
We talked about if we were betting people, we wouldn't go bet on this Suns and Lynx game. But it wouldn't be a bad idea to go put some money on that Liberty to beat whoever it's going to be. You don't even have to wait for it to be decided.
You can place your bets now. Win it all.
And if they don't, don't,
it's going to be a letdown.
God, Liberty fans, you better watch out.
Don't come here next week. Oh wait, they might still be playing next week, but the week after, don't come to this show. You better watch out for sure.
Social
watch
media everywhere going to be crazy.
Yep. Yeah, especially when like their goal was to get over the hump of the Aces, right? And they achieved that. Okay, now let's go win this thing. If they don't get it, now then we can talk about a team with kind of a letdown season.
Yeah.
Right.
And Stewie said in the presser last night, like, there's nothing to be satisfied with. Like, we're not done yet. Like,
exactly.
And somebody had asked, well, like, it doesn't say something because you got to the finals, even though you lost. She's like, no, like we were the losers. Like, who cares? Like, we got to the finals last year and we lost. It doesn't mean shit. Like, we need to get there and win.
Exactly.
So, like they have the right mindset going into it. Should be interesting to see how this shapes up. But there's no excuses for Liberty not to win it.
Like Breanna Stewart knows he's a champion in college. She's a 2-time champion in WNBA. Like she's been a champion overseas. She knows the goal is to bring home the big trophy.
Yep.
At the end of the season, not just to say we made it. We went far. We had home court. None of that crap. It's to bring home the big trophy. So like. And she's playing like that too. Like if you've watched her play, she's playing like championship Stewie. Like I'm trying to bring this thing home.
Yeah. Yep, she is playing some good basketball. And as long as Sabrina, like the Sabrina that we saw in game 3, as long as they don't get that Sabrina, you know, like they should be good. But you saw, you know, she said she watched, they went back, watched the tape, saw how Vegas defended her in game 3, and figured out, okay, what do we do to counterspell that? You know, like simple as that, you know? It's a game of freaking chess. So she's like, you know, I figured out how, like, what I needed to change up in order to stop them from being able to defend me like that. And it worked.
Yeah. And hats off to her. Like, she came out aggressive. Like, right off the bat, she came out, boom, hit her first 3, and it was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. Like
she
as soon as she hit that, I was like, oh no, here we go.
Exactly.
Because game 3, remember, she hadn't hit a shot till the 4th quarter, and it was on a free throw.
Yeah.
So to see her come out and hit that 3 right out the gate, it's just like, okay, we ain't having no game 3 game.
I was like, oh, here she go. And like she hit that like coming off like a simple pass. It was like on the elbow 3, and she could have been double teamed there, but she was like, nope, I'm not waiting. I'm taking my shot. And it was like, oh, she aggressive.
Yeah.
This might be one of them days. And it was.
Yeah. So next week, if the finals are over, we'll get into, you know, the free coaches, you know, the openings, all that. Talk about free agency. We'll start talking a little bit about the Unrivaled League and start getting ready for them. We'll talk a little bit about, you know, where some of the WNBA players that aren't playing in Unrivaled, what leagues they're going to be playing in. A lot of girls are playing in China this season, it seems. So, you know, keep up kind of with all that. You know, and the last thing, you know, I guess we'll have to mention is that they also finally announced Rookie of the Year as well. So congratulations to Caitlin Clark. I don't think it's very much of a surprise. However, it is, tell me your thoughts on this. The voting came out, and she was 1 vote away from getting unanimous, which I believe has only been done once or twice. I know Candace Parker. I don't know if it's
I think she's
one more or if she's the only one, but so that tells you how hard it is, right? So to fall 1, and now we know how this feels to be 1 vote short of somebody not making something. So, you know, I was trying to get into how I would have felt had, you know, this season, because we kept hearing, oh, Asia might get MVP, but it's not going to be unanimous because look how Fee's playing, especially after the Olympics. The story started to kind of change, remember? So I started to think, like, how would I have felt had Asia won MVP this season, but been 1 voter short of getting unanimous? Now, you know, Lobo, I would still be talking about it next season a year later. So I know, especially we know Caitlin Clark fans, they're going to fly off the roof with anything.
They already did.
I know they're pissed. Now, we don't know who the 1 voter is that voted for Angel Reese or why, or, you know, but are you surprised that that Caitlin Clark wasn't unanimous? Or are you surprised the opposite direction that Angel Reese and or nobody else, that they only got 1 vote?
I am surprised in the opposite direction. That Angel Reese only received 1 vote. And I understand why. And it's one of my biggest like sports pet peeves, which I really don't like. And it's this. Let me explain. There's this thing in sports where if a player doesn't finish the season, everything they've done just goes away. And I've seen this throughout all of sports. And to bring it back to WNBA, all year long, it's been Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Who's going to be Rookie of the Year? Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark has done this. Well, Angel Reese has done that. Caitlin Clark just set this record. Well, Angel Reese just set this record. Caitlin Clark did this. Well, Angel Reese has done that even once again, right? It's been that way all season long. And then in the last 2 weeks of the season, Angel Reese gets hurt. She's out for the season. And then all of a sudden, it's like everything she did went away. Like she set rookie records. She set overall WNBA records, right? She was leading the league in rebounding. It took Asia like an extra couple of games to catch and surpass her. That's how good she was at it, how far ahead she was at it. But it seems like none of that matters because she didn't finish the season. And I hate that. I don't know. Voters just have that thing where it's like, oh, well, she wasn't there at the end, so it doesn't count. No, it still counts. She's still in the record book. She still had a game where she had 18 points and 20 rebounds. Like something that's only been done a few times in WNBA history, right? These things all matter. So I have no problem with Caitlin Clark winning it. She definitely deserved it. Phenomenal rookie season. Awesome. But to just kind of forget about Angel Reese, I think was kind of bad. So that's my take. You know, it's like, only one? Really? One? No one else stepped up and was like, you know what, this girl had a great season. If she didn't get hurt, she would have been up there. Like, I got to give her a vote, at least one, like something. But yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised as well. Because, you know, the voters, there are voters that are centered around certain teams. Meaning you do have voters that may be a reporter for Chicago Sky and so-and-so for the Chicago Chronicle, whatever the hell, and, you know, whatever.
There are people that are like
you're telling
reporters
me so
for
that
the Sun and things like that.
The people that are watching Angel Reese every single day of her rookie career so far didn't think she deserved the vote.
Yeah.
So that's what I found odd. Like, because like you said, it's not like she just had some chump rookie season and then got hurt. And it's like, okay, well, you know what she did couldn't keep up. So she's forgot about. Like, no, she set records, you know, like they play two completely different positions, which people seem to forget about a lot. And always are constantly comparing two completely different players. Like, so of course, one's going to be breaking different records than the other one's going to be breaking. Like they do completely two freaking things. Like, and so there's a whole half of the record book now that is in Angel Reese's name, yet we forgot about that and are just seeing the records over there on Caitlin's side. Yeah. And, you know, of course, she deserved to win. Like, there's no doubt about that. Like you said, phenomenal rookie season. And like we talked about it, that's coming off of no rest, like being drafted. Like she literally played every minute of her college career, like never got to be on the bench. And then goes right into being drafted into here and plays every single minute of her rookie career almost. Like hardly ever got like literally like
stupid coach.
1 minute break, like a game, like so crazy, like acting like nobody else on the team even knew how to dribble a basketball.
Right.
And so, you know, like I'm excited to see what this whole rookie class is going to look like. You know, after a whole off season of them getting to put in work, getting to rest, getting to, you know, catch up, getting to live a little. And then, you know, getting back into the lab and perfecting their game and figuring out now what they need to work on as they are transitioned into the adult game, you know, getting into gym, working on their body, building up that muscle. Like especially like Angel Reese, you saw like she's expected to be a big girl. She's expected to be down there in the paint. Like have to put on muscle. You know, you can't be down there getting bullied when you're the tallest one 90% of the time, you know, like you know, so and the same with Kate Clark, like she got tossed around all season. Well, bulk up, put on some weight, like put on some damn muscle, you know, like you have to be able to, your body has to be able to withstand it. Like your fans can't be crying every fucking time you hit the ground thinking that you know, like you're going to be out the entire next rest of your life. Like so work on your body.
You know, you got to be sent to the emergency room. Oh my god.
Like Jesus. So yeah, like I'm excited to see what, you know, what WNBA looks like next season. And then obviously, you know, we'll see what these girls do in college and what this new draft class is going to look like too. Because this isn't the only draft class that's going to be full of stars coming out. You know, we have a lot of good players coming out into the league the next few years. So WNBA is in a good place, even though the Aces aren't.
They'll be right back in it. They'll retool and be right back in it.
Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, okay?
Exactly.
So yeah, we're gonna get out of here. We also next I'm gonna write a note so that we can talk about what we think happens, you know, with Becky, what the Aces look like if they are to whatever happens in this lawsuit, if they have to clean house, if they, you know, what looks like what the Aces are going to look like if all this shit goes down, because who knows what's going to happen. Like we got to be prepared. This could look like a very, very different organization come next season. I know,
right?
Like
top
from
to bottom.
Top to bottom.
You just don't know. Yeah.
Like all the way from owner to like crazy
president down to coach. Like we don't know.
Yeah. Shoot. And then we don't know if some of our assistant coaches, like if Tyler, maybe he gets a chance to go be a head coach in one of these openings, you know, or
it might get
whatever.
poached.
Like, like we've been lucky to be hang on through, you know, back-to-back championships to be able to keep our coaching staff together, you know. It's just a matter of time before they start poaching. Us 49er fans know that all too well, you know. Me and Ty will be back tomorrow to talk about the other losers and
oh my gosh. Fucking 1 point. Fucking team.
We'll be back tomorrow, talk about the 49ers. We'll be back next Monday, same time, 6 Pacific time, to talk Aces, WNBA, women's basketball, whatever, you name it. Chat, we appreciate you, everybody that watched, that watches on replay. You guys are always appreciated. Please make sure you like, subscribe to both channels. The link to Ty's channel is in the description box of this video.
She got nice game and easy. Network. Yep.
Go click it, go subscribe. Anything before we get out of here?
Just one quick thing. We talked about rookies. Prayers up to Nika Mule.
Yes.
She got hurt overseas, very first game. She was playing well too. I watched that game. She was like, it was like, oh man, what Nika could do with some playing time, and then went down. Oh, it's tragic. Heart goes out to her. We won't see her for next season. She's gone, but I'm just hoping she heals up and gets back right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Totally heartbreaking. And like, I had watched her exit interview and was like so pumped because I'm like, man, like, she just seems like she's so positive. Like, even though, you know, this season obviously didn't go how she wanted it, like she got this figured out, you know, she's good mentally. She's, you know, like we're going to be good here. Like, I'm excited to see what she does next season. And then literally the first freaking game that she finally gets some playing time, you know, has to go overseas to do it and tears her fucking ACL. Like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me.
It's terrible.
Just totally heartbreaking.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, YouTube does play EuroLeague basketball. So if you just want to randomly tune in, you can do that. That's where I'm watching from. So there you go.
There you go. All right, Ty. We'll be back tomorrow. Chat, we're out of here. Appreciate y'all.
See ya.
Peace.